What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Packers Report. We're giving you an at-home video as quickly as we can because we got some breaking news in Green Bay as they have extended wide receiver Christian Watson. It is a one-year, $13.25 million extension that keeps Christian in Green Bay for the next year through the 2026 season. We got a ton to break down, but before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, okay? This is why you do it. Every time there's a move, no matter how big, no matter how small, we get you a video as quickly as we can. Usually we're in the studio, we got a bunch of graphics, we got a whole awesome setup, but hey, when news breaks and we're at home, we get in the guest room and we get you a video as quickly as possible. So if you have not yet, join us today on the Packers Report. So Christian Watson is staying in Green Bay through the 2026 season. And look, guys, this shouldn't really surprise anybody because we know two things. The Green Bay Packers love Christian Watson, and Christian Watson loves the Green Bay Packers, okay? They are like, I don't know even how to give it an analogy for the two of them together. They just really love the relationship that they've got, okay? Green Bay consistently believes in the player that Christian Watson can be, and they've stuck with him through injury after injury after injury. And Christian Watson sees that. I'm sure he really, really appreciates it, and he likes being here because he believes this is the best team for him to be on. Because when he's back and when he is healthy, he's one of the better wide receivers that this team has. But that's the thing with Christian Watson, right, is he has rarely been healthy. That's been his shtick. Missed time last season, then came back, tore his ACL in January. In that playoff game. And then been out rehabbing since, obviously. Well, the good news is his rehab is going very, very well. It's actually going way ahead of schedule. That's why he started the season on the PUP list, because that means after 4 weeks, they'll be able to reevaluate and possibly bring him back to play. Now, week 5 is the bye week, and so if you do see him back, the quickest you're likely going to see him back is week 6. And I believe, if I can remember that correctly, that game is against the Cincinnati Bengals. But let's talk about the money. Let's talk about the extension. 1 year, $13.25 million. I think that's a great deal for Green Bay. I mean, this is a guy who averaged like 20 yards a catch last season when he was playing, maybe even a little bit over that. So you get him at a good price. And I like the fact that they did 1 year. I think it's good for both sides, okay? They're going to let him get healthy. They're going to let him play this season. And then if he plays this season and stays healthy throughout the rest of it and does really, really well, I would not be surprised one bit to see a bigger extension happen before the 2026 season starts, right? They're just kind of doing this to save themselves. And I think Christian Watson's doing it as well to be like, hey, look, this guarantees me a deal through next year. But I think the last thing that Green Bay wants is Christian Watson to come back healthy, have a monster season, and then them lose him in free agency because they won't be able to pay him anymore because somebody's going to outbid them for him, okay? That's like the last thing that they want. And so this is great for both sides. You get him on a cheap deal. He comes back. He gets some security for 2026 as well. And at the end of the day, everybody's happy. And I'm excited to see him back in this lineup, man. I really, really am, especially after how you saw that offense play against Detroit on Sunday. It really seemed like they were clicking on all cylinders. Now, I will admit, it did take a second for the run game to heat up, right? That didn't really happen until the second half. And then Josh Jacobs caught fire, especially in that fourth quarter. But man, the passing game looked like coming out the gates, first drive, second drive. Like, Jordan Love looks like he's playing some of his best football right now. The wide receivers were looking great as well. They weren't dropping nearly as many balls as they did last year. Now, knock on wood, it's a one-game sample size. You got 17 more weeks of this, 16 more games. But if I'm Christian Watson, like, this is an offense I want to assert myself in. This is an offense I want to be a part of. Because, yeah, they spent a first-round pick on a wide receiver. But for a guy like Christian Watson, what that likely means for him is when he's back, when he's healthy, just a little bit less attention on him, which should mean to more open looks, more targets, more catches, a little bit more money in the future. Now, I am curious to see where Green Bay goes with Romeo Doubs from here. I'll talk about it briefly right now. I'll probably go into more depth on it later in the week, possibly even tomorrow. But we all know that both Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs were free agents at the end of this year. Well, that's not the case for Christian Watson anymore. So what does that mean for Doubs? Well, right now we don't know. We're probably going to know a little bit more towards the end of the season based on how Christian Watson's doing. But I don't know what his future lies with Green Bay, just given the amount of weapons that they have offensively right now. They locked down Christian Watson for another year. Jayden Reed, they still got a couple more years on his deal. Matthew Golden, he's a rookie. Dontayvion Wicks, he's got a couple more years on his deal as well. I believe he's not a free agent to the end of the 2026 season. And so there's a lot to be answered there, and I don't think this extension for Christian Watson answers our question for Romeo Doubs, but it might lead us to, see which of those two guys they like better, which of those two guys they prefer. And I think we always knew that was Christian Watson. I mean, Christian Watson never got suspended from the team, and Romeo Doubs did last year. And so I think it's obvious which of those two guys is going to be in higher favor with this front office and with this coaching staff. But for Christian, man, I'm excited for him to get back. He's got pretty elite speed. The cool thing about him as well is, you think he's an outside wide receiver because of how big he is, and he can really go anywhere. He played a ton in the slot last season and really in his entire career since he's been in Green Bay, if he's been healthy. But, of course, that's the reason he's getting a one-year deal. That's the reason he's getting a $13 million contract and not a $30 million contract. If he can put it together, man, and stay healthy and put together a full year, or put together what? If he comes back by week 6, 11 straight games for Green Bay, where they can see exactly what they're expecting to see from him, but a bigger sample size, then a payday might be in his future. And I know he just got that payday today. It seems weird to talk about a payday in the next couple of years, but that's just kind of what these one-year extensions do. They say to the player, hey, look, we like you, you like us. We just need one more year for us to evaluate your value. And on the flip side, I think for Christian, that's saying, you know what? Give me one more year to prove to you how valuable I am. And he's got a chance to do that this year. I'm pumped to see it. I know Jordan Love's excited to see it. I'm sure the rest of the receiving corps is excited to see it because, like I said earlier, it might mean less targets for them. It might mean a little bit less share of the sugar, or a little bit more sugar to share, I should say. But what that does mean is you can't solely focus in on one guy, and that's what's going to make this team so dangerous pretty much for the entirety of this year. But I've liked what I've seen so far. Christian Watson, the latest update that we got was from Brian Gutekunst when he spoke about a week and a half before roster cutdown day, and he said, it's going to be hard for him to not start the season on PUP. He's going to be chomping at the bit, and we got to see some footage of him, on the sideline running sprints with the parachute behind his back during training camp. He's really just stayed to be working on the side. I don't think they want to ramp up anything too much. But I would say October 6th against the Bengals is a day to look out for. I believe that one, let me get it fully pulled up right here so we can make sure we're not making any mistakes right here. You got the Commanders coming up, Browns, Cowboys. Then you have your bye week. Week 6 is against the Bengals. Week 7 is against Cardinals. If it's not against Cincinnati, October 26th against Pittsburgh, I think is a game you should look out for, a game you should watch out for. Regardless, they're going to try to get him in the lineup as quickly as they can, but they're also going to try to be smart at it, knowing that they made another investment in this guy. He's going to be here through 2026. We want to make sure his 2026 status is not in jeopardy just because you wanted to rush to get him back onto the field. That's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Second video we got for you guys today. Like we said, whenever anything happens, we make you a video as quickly as possible. The only reason we didn't get it to you sooner is because I was at my wife's birthday happy hour dinner celebration. So we got home from there. Got it fired up as quickly as we can, and that's why you guys got to subscribe, join us, right? If you have not liked the video, please do so. It helps us out. It's totally 100% free for you guys, and I had this covered on my Twitter before I had it on a video because it's a lot faster to send a tweet than it is to film a 10-minute segment, okay? So make sure you follow me on Twitter. You can find me at Joey Petersen 8. Petersen is S-E-N, or I made it super easy for you. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video, so just click on that link. It'll take you right to my profile, and you will follow me. Reminder, we're going to be live on Thursday night. Packers, Commanders will be live an hour before the game, all throughout the game itself. It's going to be an absolute blast. So if you haven't joined us for a watch party, do it. The way you make sure you lock us in is hit that subscribe button.